Don't forget to like and subscribe to follow good stories. In the previous episode, Chloe had proposed divorce to Damien because she had discovered the truth behind their marriage and was shocked by the loss of their first child. Will Chloe forgive Damien? Let's find out in episode 10 of Betrayal of Dignity. What gives you the right to bring up divorce? Damien demanded. Chloe responded, I distinctly remember you telling me that we were only allowed to have one child and no more because you have no heir. I assumed you would want a divorce. Witnessing her determination, Damien felt bewildered. Chloe von this, Chloe trembling, shouted, Don't call me by that name. You deceived me and cornered me. You put our child's life in mortal danger. I should never have taken that medicine. Chloe, distraught, covered her face and wept silently. Damien softly reassured her, if you hadn't taken that medicine, you wouldn't have survived. Through her tears, Chloe replied, then you should have let me die. My child was the only truth I could rely on in a world full of lies. I did it to save your life because I love you from the bottom of my heart. After all the effort I put into making you mine, you can't abandon me so soon, Damien insisted. Chloe involuntarily stepped back. You have no right to talk about love, she retorted. The Duke, with a sly expression, said, No, you have no right to assume my feelings. This is how I love you, Chloe answered. I never desired such a love. Damien reached out and embraced her. Are you sure? Can you confidently say I haven't occupied your mind and soul? Yes, until the night I discovered your filthy secrets. Don't be foolish, Chloe. Those documents are worthless. If they were important, I would have burned them to ashes the moment you confessed your love for me. Damien tenderly caressed her cheek. I shouldn't have left you here alone. I was a fool. I admit it was my mistake. Chloe, I love you. Divorce will never happen in my life, nor in yours. I know you love me. Chloe tearfully said, Yes, all of this happened because I loved you, and I regret it from the bottom of my heart. No, Chloe, you will not regret it, I assure you, Damien replied firmly. In the room, Chloe's breathing grew more and more rapid. The Duke cunningly called her name. Chloe, you are the only woman who has ever made me kneel before her. Chloe, holding on to her resentment, thought back to when she had confidently told him, if you cannot forgive someone, then you cannot love them. But what should I do when I can't forgive the person I love? If I can't harbor both love and hatred in my heart, what should I do? The door to the room suddenly opened, and a soldier's panicked voice interrupted them. Your Grace, there is urgent news. The people of Swan have started a rebellion, and we do not know the whereabouts of the Grand Prince Johann. Damien coldly ordered, I must depart for Swan immediately. You will stay here and protect the Duchess until the situation calms down. Yes, Your Grace, the soldier responded. Chloe grabbed Damien's arm. Please, let me go with you. I don't want to stay here amidst the chaos. Damien pushed her hand away, irritated. No, I will not allow the future queen to be seen going to the church with a divorce paper in hand. Chloe clenched her hand into the corner of her dress. I won't do such a thing. The Duke silently watched his wife's helpless resistance. He took his cloak to leave and ordered, Tell everyone that until I give permission, the Duchess is not to step outside this castle. The study door slowly closed before Chloe, like her bleak future. At Swan, the people were incredibly grateful when Duke Verdier quelled the rebellion. With the Grand Prince in hiding and his whereabouts unknown, it was almost certain that Duke Verdier would become king. He was a man unafraid to engage with those outside the nobility, and had even married a woman from a lowly family. He was seen as the only one capable of changing the rotten regime, and it was astounding that a common noble's daughter would become queen. The woman must have done many good deeds in a past life to be born with such great fortune. In the birch forest, Margaret asked worriedly, Are you not cold, my lady? Chloe replied calmly, The fresh air here is delightful. I was too tired of being locked in that room. Margaret became sad. This maid deeply admired her mistress because, in her eyes, Chloe was an extraordinary woman. Today, Margaret was leading the lady for a walk for another reason. An unexpected guest wished to see her. I hope this will lift your spirits a bit, Margaret said, when Chloe turned to see the guest. Appeared, dressed like a monk, resembling a cleric from afar. In a wooden house, the two entered to converse while Margaret stood guard outside. Gilles began, Margaret told me about your recent life. Chloe paused for a moment and forced a smile. I am fine, Gilles. Don't worry. Clenched his hands upon hearing her lies. Do you know why I helped Lady Alice escape? Because she begged me with tearful eyes. Lady Alice told me she wanted to be happy. Chloe was not surprised. It was exactly what Alice would say. Gilles hesitated slightly. Can I do the same for you? I've thought about it for a long time. If you agree to stay, I thought it best to remain silent forever. But Chloe seemed to understand Gilles' intention. You discovered something, didn't you? Jules bit his lip and revealed the truth. The Duke planned to approach you. You don't know what means he used to make you. Chloe interrupted. There is no secret in this world that can be completely hidden. Gilles was astonished. My lady, you knew about it? And you still forgave him despite knowing the truth? Chloe gripped her cane tightly. I once loathed him to the point of being unable to bear it, but strangely, I don't resent our child at all. Even though I despise that family to the utmost, I find myself wanting to give the baby the name of this. Perhaps I am as pragmatic as anyone else, Gilles replied shakily. Please don't say such things. You simply want the best for the child. Chloe sighed, touching her stomach. Yes, even though it no longer matters. The room suddenly fell silent. Gilles abruptly stood up and proposed. Lady Chloe, if you wish, I can free you from this endless winter. He knelt like a loyal servant. So please, run away with me. I came here to tell you this, knowing the Duke might kill me for it. I understand. It is a crime for someone as lowly as me to harbor such feelings. Gilles struggled to hold back tears, but witnessing the deep sorrow within you makes me feel like I'm withering away. Please, run away with me. The servant wept as he pleaded. Chloe gently touched the corner of her eye and called his name. Thank you. You risked your life to come here and propose that we escape. Your romantic gesture, coming to me and expressing your feelings despite everything, I will never forget as long as I live. With a cold expression, she added, let me make you some tea. Gilles reached out to grab Chloe, startling her. I will never be worthy of you, he stammered, his whole body trembling. Chloe knelt down and sincerely replied, listen to me, Jules. If I depend on your kindness now, I will live the rest of my life in torment, feeling guilty. And you, Jules, you will never find true happiness, because you are not the kind of man who keeps others by force. Chloe let go of his hand and offered him her final sincerity. You are someone who protects someone's world instead of destroying it. Gilles forced a painful smile. In the end, you still don't choose me, despite the suffering. Please promise me one thing, my lady. Please promise me that you will be happy. Chloe silently stood up and agreed. Gilles, remember this. Whatever decision I make, it is my choice. Gilles blushed and looked at his mistress. I will remember that. After the conversation in the wooden house, Gilles quickly left, but not without glancing back at his mistress one last time. I will find happiness, he said. In the wooden house, Chloe remained, contemplating her final actions. That very night, she spent her time writing a letter, a true end to everything. Dear Your Grace, I have had enough time to reflect while you were away. I realize I have stubbornly and childishly placed my sorrow above yours, even though I know my concerns are unfounded. But I feel compelled to write because of the fear that my actions might harm your goals. I hope you successfully resolve all issues and allow me to accompany you soon. You are the only one who can recognize my worth. I love you deeply. I pray that I am not the source of your weakness, and earnestly await the world you will create. Chloe. Damien strode forward. Very well, Chloe. Whether you are being sincere or these are mere lies, you will always be the only woman for me, the empress of this empire, and I will be the only man for you. Now we can be happy and carefree. That's enough. So, Chloe, we can start over again. In a corner of the birch forest, the servants hurriedly called out to each other. Put out the fire quickly, everyone. We must hurry. When Damien arrived at the scene, everything was in chaos. What is happening? The Duke's voice from behind made the maid tremble. Your Grace, the house is on fire, and the Duchess, she is still inside. Damien looked at the fierce flames in horror. Chloe, before the terrifying fire that seemed to consume everything, the servants surrounded Damien, shouting warnings. Your Grace, you can't go in there. Chloe, the Duke, like a madman, wanted to plunge into the blazing fire to find her. He screamed, let me go. The servants, unable to restrain him, were pushed to the ground. Your Grace, It's too dangerous. Ignoring their warnings, Damien rushed into the flames without hesitation. Chloe, the wooden beams of the ceiling had collapsed, catching fire. He groped through the house, searching for his wife's figure. Chloe, what are you doing? The Duke fell to his knees when he saw a body in front of him. It's time to rise, my love. Aren't you going to welcome me with open arms? Isn't that your duty as my wife? We still have so much to discuss. As the Duke whispered to the corpse, a sudden rain began to pour down, extinguishing the fire quickly. The sky was dark, filled with the smell of smoke and rain. Inside the wooden house, the Duke's groans for his wife continued. Chloe, do you think you can just abandon me like this? No. You must stay with me forever. Your heart is mine. You gave it to me. The mother, shocked to see her son in such deep sorrow, noticed the family heirloom necklace that Chloe had worn when she married into the family. The mother collapsed in shock. Oh, Chloe? Rainwater poured down like a waterfall through the hole in the roof. Damien reproached his mother. Mother, why did you demand so much from my wife? Oh, my son, the mother lamented. The Duke turned back, revealing a crazed expression. My wife, the Duchess of the Thys family, cannot die so tragically. The charred arm of the corpse fell amidst choking sobs, and the entire space seemed torn apart by the Duke's heart-wrenching screams. Back at the mansion, Damien sat before the fireplace with a vacant expression, his cold gaze fixed on the portrait of him and his wife. Chloe, you cannot escape from me, even in the deepest pits of hell. I will not allow it, he muttered. His mother approached to inform him. It seems Duke Verdier has fallen ill and is bedridden after hearing that his eldest daughter died so tragically. Damien asked indifferently, he won't be able to attend the funeral? His mother pleaded, son, why don't we bury Chloe in her hometown as an act of love? Damien, displeased, replied, what do you mean, mother? She is the Empress. She must be buried in the royal mausoleum. The Empress's funeral will take place 2 weeks after the coronation. I must return to Swan. Once you finish the arrangements here, you can join me at the royal palace. As the door closed behind her, his mother's heartfelt lament echoed. Chloe, didn't you feel the pain when Damien held you so tightly? Yes, mother. Chloe's voice seemed to respond from beyond. That is why I let him go. This station, the day of fire, Winsbury. The train from Thys to Winsbury is about to depart. Stop pushing. You nearly bowed over an old woman. Eliza asked Chloe with concern. Are you all right? It is far too crowded here. Chloe replied, I am fine. Thank you for your help, Eliza. It is nothing compared to the kindness you have shown me, my lady. Eliza replied gratefully. I do not know how much help I can be, but if you ever find yourself in need of assistance, please write to me. The train announcement sounded hurriedly once again. Winsbury. Last call for the train to Winsbury. You must board now. Chloe thought about Damien. You lost. I hope you like my gift. In the perfect world you are constructing, my absence, as imperfect as I am, will not matter. The tumultuous spring passed, and summer arrived. Damien Verdier swore an oath to the gods that he would devote his life to the prosperity of Swanton. Meanwhile, a substantial reward was offered for the capture of Prince Johann, who had fled Swanton. Thus, the reign of the Thys dynasty began. In the palace, Count Wise was discussing Johann with the new king. It seems he is hiding in the Duchy of Quarter, Count Wise reported. They say the new king of Cater is a madman. He shot his subordinate for insulting his lover. If such a lunatic teams up with Johann, the Duke interjected, if he is a madman, let's hope he is a fool so that alliance never happens. However, if he is a cunning madman, then we will face war. Count Wise broke into a cold sweat. How can he speak of such matters so carelessly? He thought. Hesitating slightly, he asked, when do you plan to hold the Queen's funeral, Your Majesty? The pen in Damien's hand froze unconsciously. It had been 2 months already. You know there are many nosy people in the royal court, he said indifferently. Your Highness, I simply cannot serve a mad king. Count Wise expressed his concern. Damien chuckled softly. If you don't want to witness true madness, I advise you to leave me. Count Wise tried to reason with him. Damien, you know better than anyone that your current state is far from normal. Please, return to being yourself, as a member of the Thys family. Damien turned silently, gazing at his concerned attendant. With a commanding tone, he ordered, the funeral will be held in 10 days. 10 days later, at the Rose Mansion in the capital of Swanton, a gravestone had been erected at the entrance to the maze garden. The inscription read, Here lies Chloe, The love of Damien. Damien stood quietly, gazing at the gravestone through the window pane, his sunken eyes reflecting his desolation and sorrow. How do you feel, being buried in the place where you promised to do everything for me? Do you see this as an insult? Are you angry with me? Even if you scold me, you still look so beautiful. If only I had taken you to Swan with me. If only I hadn't left you alone at this. If only I had realized my feelings sooner and proposed to you properly. Then, instead of feeling my throat torn apart by this sense of failure, I could have kissed your delicate neck and been immersed in boundless happiness. There was a knock on the door and a servant's voice called out, "Your Highness, this is a package from the post office at this." "They are the stamps that the lady Your Highness ordered before the accident." "I see. You may leave," Damien replied. As the servant departed, Damien quickly opened the package in his hands. He laughed like a madman when he saw the contents: newly commissioned stamps featuring a portrait of the two of them. "Duke, please return it to me." "What do you think you are doing?" "Oh, you are all wet." Chloe's voice seemed to resonate. The wine glass in Damien's hand shattered into pieces, blood dripping onto the floor along with his heavy breathing. Holding a shard of glass to his neck, he muttered, "Chloe, if I die, can I be reunited with you?" Chloe appeared, gently removing the glass shard from his hand. "This joke isn't funny, Damien," he grumbled, his voice strained. "This isn't a joke." Chloe's voice remained soothing and enchanting. "You know, Damien, the river of death leads to two paths, heaven and hell. Surely, we won't be taken to the same place. Do you disagree?" The illusions had all vanished, leaving him alone in the stench of blood and tears. As Chloe had wished, Damien was truly tormented by the death she caused. Will our Duke realize this truth? Don't forget to like and subscribe to catch episode 10 of the series Betrayal of Dignity.